Alright, today we're taking a look and reviewing Origins, the Assassin's Creed game. Came out a while ago. Picked this bad boy up on sale. Thought I'd check it out. I was always wanting to look at it. And before I say anything, can I just... Oh yeah. Give a nice round of applause. They did an amazing job at making a pretty okay game. It is definitely okay. It's a pretty decent game. I like what they've done. A lot of shortcomings also. So, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad. A little bit of background on me. I've been playing Assassin's Creed for decades now, it feels like. I was there since that first trailer with that one guy in the bell tower, the Falcon, and he jumps down, kills the guy, crossbows. I've been there since it wasn't even a game. It was just a concept, just a dream, right? And I played pretty much all of them in the beginning until they started getting pretty bad. And then I just kind of didn't care anymore, and they're all the same game. That's why I wanted to check this one out. They really changed up the whole thing. They brought it back to the roots, but really changed the whole game and fundamentally changed it for the better, perhaps. Perhaps not. We will discuss and we will see. First things first, like, I like to pick and choose a couple, like every 4 or 5 years, the one come out and I'll play it if it interests me. Like Black Flag. Black Flag was sick with the pirates and you got the pistols, you're running around stealing shit. Oh, it was great. So I picked that one up as soon as it released, and then they released nothing but garbage. That's what it feels like. It's just like Hollywood, you know? You know what they say? You do one for you, one for them. One for you, for one for them. This one was definitely one for you. Not for like you, but for them. But not like, you know what I'm saying? It felt really like they cared for this one. And for a lot of other ones, they didn't care, you know? It's just one of those, like, okay, gotta fill quota, get some money out there, the technology improve, and then, you know, next time we'll make a better game for us that we're passionate about. Sort of dealio, I think, is what's going on here. That's what it felt like. And you can tell right away when you just open the game just how gorgeous the whole thing is. It is beautiful. I'm playing it on my 4K TV and my 4K PlayStation, whatever, who cares. But it looks like the whole Egypt area and all the views. Oh God, it looks great. But then again, they always do. I feel like this is priority numero uno usually for these games, is to make it, first and foremost, make it look awesome. It comes down to the world first, because that's really kind of sells it. And it did. It did a good job with that. Some things are still pretty lacking. They fixed a couple issues, like the NPCs. At least back from the ones I used to play, there was like 3 NPCs. It looked like San Andreas, where there's only like 5 characters, and they all look the same except for the main characters, and it really takes you out of the game. But I didn't really have that problem with this one. They're all randomly generated enough. It felt like new people every time, which is good. The cutscenes are a little weird most of the time. Sometimes they're okay. Sometimes they look really stupid, and like the guy's just talking to the other guy, and they're just like, it looked bad. Only like for the important cutscenes, I guess, like the main story cutscenes, the effort seemed to be put in a little bit more, which is fair, I suppose. Speaking of the story, what can I say about this story? It's okay. It's alright. It's pretty good. Nothing crazy. Just tells the origin stories. Oh, he was betrayed. I did like, they brought it back to like the first game basically, and you had like a list of like 7 people, and then you kind of like, it slows it down. You kind of got to figure out who they are and like do some investigation work. And then like they build up these enemies, and then you fuck them up, which is pretty cool, right? They simplify it, yet complicate it. And it is very nice. The pacing's a little weird. I gotta admit, it feels like it starts off slow, but then, you know, it ramps up slowly. And then you have this like huge fucking fight scene. You're like, oh shit. You know, Caesar's like, you're on the fucking battlefield and you're killing people and it's crazy. And then this guy like betrays you. I don't really know what's happening. Like, there's so many cutscenes, so many hours of dialogue. Like, it's really easy to miss something, and I don't understand what really happened But all of a sudden, somewhere along the line, someone betrays you, and then, like, all of a sudden, you're not with Caesar, and, like, you know, you're a little pissed at Cleopatra out of nowhere, and you fucking, like, slap around. You're like, hey, cut it out. And it doesn't make too much sense. I don't know. I always have that problem when I'm playing these long games the first time around. You gotta listen to every goddamn thing, and it's like, oh my god, there's quite a lot going on to unpack here, and I got pretty bad ADD, and I'm trying to scroll through fucking Reddit here and watch these goddamn cutscenes, and you know what, maybe that's on me. But besides that too, like, you get the whole thing, like, you go on this big exploration around Egypt basically, and then you come back to the place where you started. The town has been, like, ravaged, it's on fire, people are, like, tons of people are dead. Your best friend growing up or whatever who you left there is dead. Spoilers. And you're like, oh shit, this is it, I'm gonna fucking kill the bad guy. And then they're like, okay, no, you need to go to this other place in this other town and then do like 20 more missions, and then you can do it. Then you can kill this guy, because he's not here, even though he should be fucking here, and it doesn't make too much sense. That was my only real issue with the story, I guess. It's just a run-of-the-mill, basic story. There was one part that really threw me out of the game, where I was doing this puzzle, and I did it. It took me a while. It was really stupid. And all of a sudden, this fucking Ryu motherfucker looking anime bitch with, like, wings and shit, like, I break him out of, like, this weird cube prison is how I could only describe it. And, like, then this other character flies from fucking space, throws the sword through, like, the pyramid that I'm inside, and fucking this guy, like, leaves his shit and shield and fucking space beams out of the top of the pyramid. I literally dropped my fucking controller. Up until that point, it was fine. That literally, like, smacked me in the face. It was so stupid. It like, just stupidity punched me in the face. I was like, wow. Jesus Christ, what the fuck just happened? I literally forgot to even record it because I was flabbergasted for a good 25 minutes over that. I was like, what the hell? Whose idea was that? That is the stupidest motherfucking thing I have ever goddamn seen. Speaking of the puzzles too, they're lame. That's a really big downfall. I feel like they really missed the mark. They had a lot of potential, and it would have been really easy for them. Because there's, like, a bunch of these, like, you know, pyramids and shit where they're, like, special, and you need to go in, and you think, like, oh, this is gonna be great. Because, like, back in the other game, at least from, like, off my top of my head, like, Brotherhood or whatever, where you go into these famous locations, and then these huge, like, jumping temples where you had to jump around. I don't know if people just thought it was tedious. I thought it was really cool. They were all unique and kind of had their own style to them. They all were different. Some were a little bit fighting based, and I feel like they could have made these huge jumping puzzle, beautiful areas in the game. I don't know if they just did that because they're like, oh, in real life, the pyramids don't have that, blah, blah, blah. But in that case, they don't have fucking Ryu flying through the roof of these pyramids anyway. And, like, I don't think there's a giant thing under the Sphinx. They had, like, a big-ass room under the Sphinx that was pretty cool. I mean, all you did was, like, walk through it, but it was something. So I didn't understand why they couldn't make these big galleries. Like, in the tutorial, when you're doing the first little bit, you start in this big-ass temple, and you kind of have to jump around. You got to figure out, I'm like, okay, this is set in the page. There's going to be more like this. No. That's the end of that. Right out of the gates. It's over. Hope you didn't like that, because it's done. You could have big pillars and shit, and, like, everything's falling apart, and you have to, like, jump around and shit. But no, they're really dull, really boring, super simplistic. They'll have, like, 2 rooms, and then, like, oh, one has a really obvious fake door, and then you just go through the fake door, and that's about it. And it's pretty lame. And to be honest, they really tone down a lot of the things that make us, like, sure, you still climb and you do, you know, the viewpoints and shit, but, like, the free running, there's really no point to free running anymore. It doesn't feel like there's any point to it whatsoever. Like, it was really, like, that was part of the whole game, is, like, parkour and shit. And this is like, okay, no, just ride your camel on the streets from one place to the next, and then once you get there, you just fight people. You know, with the new combat system, it's like the fighting's good, but now it just feels like it's way leaning more on that, and it's stripped the rest of it, like the assassinations and shit. Like, you still gotta assassinate people, but it feels way more heavy in the fighting, which kind of strips it, I must say, of its Assassin's Creed-ness by taking that out. Like, there's a couple spots where you could be running and go up like a building or whatnot, but there's just no fucking reason to do it. Just sit and try to fight the people, right? Plus they'll like chase you forever anyway. Like, I just didn't see myself doing it. In other games, it's like, okay, you gotta hide, you assassinate the guy, you can fight a couple people, then you try to like run away, and then there's like these, you know, pursuit breakers or whatever, where you could like run through buildings, or like you'll do whatever, which I thought they were only gonna ramp up more, but no, they took it all out. You can still throw smoke bombs, but I didn't even bother picking that perk up. I just fucked these people up with my sword anyway. The combat needed a change for sure. It was getting a little boring. In the first game, it was kind of like an afterthought. Like, you're supposed to be an assassin. You're supposed to like, you're not supposed to get into that. And then when you get into it, you can just like combo and it's like sick, and then you run away. But more as the games went along, like fighting became way more and more important. So we did need a rehaul. And it's pretty okay. It's not perfect. It's not really what I had in mind, because it's like, it's more complicated, but it's not. You know, it just feels like, okay, now I just need to roll around and hit him in the back, or not. Like, it's still not any more complicated. Like, I feel like a cool system would have been more like UFC, where it's like, okay, maybe not like with the joysticks. Joysticks might work, but I'm not talking the joysticks. I'm talking about, okay, like hitting, you know, your attack button attacks normally, but then you hold like the trigger and like that attacks the legs. And then like if you like go back and forth between body and legs, that would do like a combo. Or like the one button does like left attack and does the right attack. And then if you do like a left attack and then a heavy attack, like you do different combos. It could be a lot more interesting and feel more skill based, because it's still like, you're still button mashing. The enemies are a little bit more interesting, I will admit. I'll be the first to admit that. And the other ones, it was just like, there's 3 enemies. You did one thing for one thing, hit a button. Oh, this guy's harder, so I need to hit A first. And then like that, like disarms him for a second. And then the boss is like, oh, you gotta wait for him to attack you. And then you just counter it. And it's super boring. They're all the same. This is a little different. There's like normal enemies who could have a different variety of weapons. And there's like the heavy enemies who could have random weapons. And then depending on their weapons, they'd attack differently, which was definitely, absolutely, empirically better. But I still feel like the assassination, like, because you want to be an assassin, right? So I'm trying to level up my perks, and it's fucking stupid when you go up to assassinate a person and like, oh, my hidden blade isn't upgraded enough. Even though I stabbed this cocksucker in the goddamn spinal cord, he just gets knocked over and it does half his bar health. And I'm like, come on, all right? Are you kidding me? And also, they took a lot of the good shit out. They added stuff in that I thought was super cool. In Black Flag, Jesus Christ. In Black Flag, like, if you're in like a market or close quarters, you could like hide behind a wall. And I thought that was so cool. Like, okay, you're really expanding and we're going from these stupid outdoor levels to like maybe more closer together, maybe a little bit more inside. Because everything's outside, so we can get inside, we can hide behind corners, we can lure people there and hide people in stuff after you kill them. And they took it out. I thought it was so cool, and it was going to build up, and they just took it out. It's gone now. You don't need to do it anyway, because there's not even like people around like before, when there's like, you go into a market, crowded people, you can blend in with people. No, there's no people. There's like, you'll see 1 or 2 people. You can't blend in with people anymore. Fucking Bayek the Hidden isn't like the whole point of hiding in plain sight. No, there's none of that. They took that out, and they took other shit out, like being able to jump on your horse from like up top, or like jump off your horse and do like, get right into like your parkour free running so you can get into a good spot. Like they're going backwards here. They're taking shit out that they already put in, and it was really cool at the time. So I don't know why they stripped that out. And I don't know if it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, San Andreas had a ton of shit, and then GTA 4, like, they completely changed the game, and they had to work from the ground up. So they simplified it, and then the next time around, when GTA 5 comes out, then they put more shit back in, because now it's like more along the same game sort of dealio. They upgrade the graphics and change some of the stuff, but then they can add a lot more shit in. And I don't know if that's what the point is, because I don't think they necessarily have to do that, because they've kind of they kind of fucked the assassinations here, which is the point of the goddamn game, right? One of my biggest complaints, too, one of my biggest fucking complaints the whole time is, like, the assassination are boring. And I don't mean, like, the little cinematics where they fucking, like, kick you in the leg and, like, turn you around and stab you in your goddamn eyeball. Like, that's pretty metal. Like, I like that a lot. I'm talking, like, what do you do when you go to assassinate something? Okay, this guy's here and he's in this building and he's walking around from point to point. And then you go to this guy, he's in another temple or whatever the fuck. He's in a building, he's just walking around. And then you just do the basic shit. That's it. And it's still been like that since day goddamn one. Since day fucking one. Like, they couldn't change it up at all. Like, there was this one where he's like, oh, he's still in a temple, but like, okay, he's praying, so he's at least doing a different action than fucking walking around. But, like, it'd be cool to do something else. Like, there was this one mission in Black Flag where it was clearly like, it was like the trailer mission where they showed like gameplay, so they clearly put more effort just into that one, and that's it, just to show it off. So then you'd buy it and then realize, oh, actually this isn't what the game is. But it's really cool. You're at like a party and like people are playing games, so when you walked over to the fucking games, you would like peek over your shoulder and look like you're watching them play cards, or like there'd be a campfire, people sitting at a campfire poking it and cooking food, and then you'd go over and kneel next to the campfire when you're being incognito. Like, that's just really fucking cool. And this guy's like walking through the party all drunk, like talking to people, and it's a little more interesting. Like, I want more stuff like that. I want it like all the time. Or like you go to a place and they're like, they're sitting at like a huge table, and like there's a ton of people in the room, and he's sitting at the head of the table, and you got to figure out like, how am I gonna, you know, when you're there, like, how am I gonna get in there and I'm gonna assassinate him? He's sitting at his table eating food while like 20 of his men are around him eating food together, doing more natural fucking stuff. Because in this world, it's led to believe that everyone just stands around and walks 20 steps to the left and then walks back 20 steps to the right. Why couldn't I have like a fucking, I go into like somebody's big manor and people are like it's their fucking break and they're playing cards, and I gotta go around it, and it's hard because they're like facing every direction because they're sitting at a table or some shit, and then I gotta go up and this guy's like writing a goddamn letter at a desk, you know, doing regular human shit. Because don't get me wrong, I like to walk around, but I also like to spend my day doing a lot of other shit too. I don't just fucking stand here, walk through my garden. That's like 80% of the people you kill are just like, I have a garden and I'm walking through it, 20 steps, I'm looking at these flowers, go over here, look at these fucking steps. I mean, it's just a couple suggestions, and I know it's going to be harder to fucking program when you can just cut and paste like walking routines, like I'm sure, and just some more like cool stuff, but it's fucking stupid. And they took a lot of other stuff out. They took my favorite thing out where you could hide in a bush, sprint across, and you'd like assassinate people, and you could like throw them into other bushes. It was really cool. That one was only in Black Flag, I think. It was one of the best things. Like, if someone was standing in between two bushes, you could sprint for a millisecond and fuck them up and throw them in the bush. It was awesome. Besides that, like, I feel like they really downplay that shit, you know? It's all about, they got the new combat system, let's just flaunt that. Along with that, they did fix the little eagle guy. Definitely good idea. Christmas bonus to him. Really cool that you could have like a little eagle and he flies and then you can see around. It does make it a little easy because you can just see where everybody is like right away. That's also another reason why it's fucking dumbed down for children, because you can just do that and they're like, oh, now I know where like before you kind of had to walk around. But even still, it's just like, oh, here's the boss. He's in a tent. And he's not even like fucking sleeping or fucking sitting at a desk, writing a letter. I know I'm leaning on that a lot, but I just think that's a good idea. Like, maybe that's how he sits the whole time, or he's eating, and then like, unless you alert guards, in which case he'll get up and you'll start wandering around and you'll start bossing people around, where he'll go up to like certain guards and be like, hey, fucking blah, 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 blah. Or maybe he's like giving a goddamn speech in front of a whole people doing rounds. I don't know. I'm not getting paid to do this, so I'm not going to think about it too hard. But I just feel like there's a couple things we could throw in there to make it a little less stale. Just a little bit. Or even like, I don't know, some of the assassinations, like a guy in a cart. Why can't there be like a guy in the cart, he's got his fucking wares in the back, you know, he's just trying to make it to wherever the fuck to sell his shit, And like, if you got to try and assassinate him, but if you like fuck up or alert him, then he starts taking off, and then you got like on a horse ride here, and like you can jump off your horse onto things, because you can't do that anymore. You used to be able to jump off your fucking horse and do whatever you wanted. They took that out. Like, it'd be cool if you could jump on the back, and then you have to like climb up and fucking stab him, throw, or like, because this is just like you have to like shoot him with a bow. It's basically what it is. You have to get up in front of him with your horse and just shoot him with a bow, which is still cool. But it'd be also cool if I could jump on the side and have to like climb up. Maybe he's throwing shit. He's got like corn in the back, fucking whipping it at my head or something. I don't know if that's gonna be too complicated to do, but like, it's that stuff that kind of like, okay, I know it feels scripted and people are like, oh, random events, but like the scripted stuff feels more natural. Honestly, it's like when like Shuffle came out and people were complaining like it doesn't feel like Shuffle because it was a true shuffle, and like songs that are similar would be together, and it didn't feel random enough because it wasn't like all over the place, even though it actually was. I don't know, I just feel like in this case, so they had to make that fake shuffle, which actually isn't a complete shuffle. It like tries to mix it up more, so things that are similar by the same band would be spread out. It's kind of like that. Like, I feel like the random events and shit, they have to, well, I mean, they kind of took out the random events, to be honest. There's none of that shit anymore. Like in Black Flag, there was like stupid same stuff. Like, you come up to a ship that's burning, or there'd be people like castaways all the time. Fucking, I don't know where the hell these people are coming from, but every other direction I turn, there's fucking people floating on some goddamn wood. But whatever. That's why I feel like, you know, you need to fake it a little bit. You need to be less random to be more random, to make it feel more random. And I feel like that's something that's gonna be a little later on. They're clearly doubling down, because Odyssey came out with the new combat system. I haven't played it. I've only seen it a little bit. I might go into that. It doesn't interest me as much, because I was pretty psyched for fucking Pyramids, man. Pyramids, oh, great stuff. Great stuff. It's pretty exciting how it does with Bayek, whatever. And sometimes you play as his wife, or ex-wife, or girlfriend, whatever. Sorry to spoil that romance, but it doesn't last. The Assassin game is not a romantic game. I do wish you played as her a little bit more often. You only play with her sometimes, and then they have this god-awful naval ship battles. Oh god, don't even get, those are so fucking boring. That like just brought my experience to a halt. I'm just like, oh my god, get this over with. But then when you play her at the end where you kill like Caesar, that was pretty cool. You give her the old Brutus in the fucking back, where you start stabbing him and then everyone else comes in and stabs him and shit. Oh, it's pretty sweet. And that's how it like ends, with the cutscene stab, and then he's like, I hide in the shadows. This is how I recruited more people. Blah, blah, blah. Origins. Assassin's Creed. This is how it started. Write it down. Overall, it's definitely worth checking out if you like Assassin's Creed. Like, I don't regret buying it. I don't regret playing it. I played the full thing to the end. I did have a good time. They kept the Out of Animus stuff to the minimum. Thank Christ for that. God damn, I hate that shit. That was the #1 complaint from fucking Black Flag. I'm throwing out Black Flag a lot. I have not played the fucking Syndicate other ones. Those ones are really lowly rated anyway. And to be honest, the French Revolution one could have been cool, but it didn't sell me all the way. I definitely didn't. 3 is where they definitely lost me. I don't want to play a fucking Native American running around in the goddamn frozen forest of who gives a fuck. Like, it seems like an interesting time, but like, I'm not American. I don't really care. I mean, I don't know. Check it out. It was okay. It was good. Good, not great. Lukewarm, drinkable, palatable. Good spicy change. I feel like they have a long way to go before the perfect. I am being a little critical of it. It's just a little bit before it'll be the perfect Assassin's Creed game. They need to get back into the assassinations. Fighting is important, but I feel like it should still downplay it, because they're really like focusing on, well, the whole, like, I watched the fucking trailer and people are like, oh, well, it's like you get to choose. You can be a fighter, or you can be assassin, or you can be the last one, which is nothing really. But it's like, no, you kind of just have to be an all-rounded out person. Like, you can't really do one or the other. I don't know. It's okay. I'm probably not gonna play Odyssey. I'll see what the other ones have in store eventually. I'll just keep my eyes peeled, just watch the trailers as they come out, and yeah, that's about it. Bye.